Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. All right, man, I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by, man. But you guys know that we got the Speed Chess Championship going on right now. And I have for you the most highly anticipated match of this year. This match is even bigger than the World Championship because it has Magnus Carlsen versus Hans Niemann. So as you guys probably know, unless you've been under a rock for the past couple of years, that Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen, they do not have any love between each other, man. And this is the first time they played in person in 2 years. For those of you guys that followed it 2 years ago in the Sinkfield Cup, we did see Magnus Carlsen withdraw from the event after he lost to Hans Niemann. And then Hans Niemann said the chess speaks for itself. Anyways, man, I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. All of my people that are coming from the Philippines, I would say Maraming Salamat. Anybody who is coming from Norway, I would say Tusen Tak. Anybody coming from America, I would say, what's up? Appreciate you stopping by, man. And I do have a treat for you guys at the end of this video, man. So stick around so you can see what that is. But without any further ado, man, let's take a look and see what we got for this game. All right, man, so we got the move C4. We do start with the English opening, but we do kind of get like a light transposition. We do see knight to F6. We got knight F3. We do see the move E6. We got G3, and then we do see the move D5. Now, we still have an English open, and this is kind of known as the Neo-Catalan defense. Basically, if you are white and you do play the move D4, we do have just a straight Catalan. But you guys know Magnus Carlsen. He's like, bro, I'm not doing any of the normal line stuff. I'm going to go a little bit left. So we actually see bishop to G2, bishop E7. We still can transpose, but we do see castles, and then D3. Like I said, Magnus is like, bro, I'm not doing any of that main line stuff. Like, who you think I am, dog? We're going to get on a sideline, or we're going to be in some island, you know, where you don't even know where you're at. Gilligan's Island, right? So after we see D3, we do see the move A5. Now, this is a very solid idea when you want to attack an E4 pawn, but you guys will see that Magnus kind of sidesteps Hans Niemann's plan right when he tries to put it into play. We do see the move knight C3. We got C6 kind of giving us like a little Slav type of, structure. We do see the move E4, and this is the novelty of the game. Usually, like I said, you probably will see D4 and then kind of prepare, in E4 later on. So that is why we see this is the novelty. We do see knight going to A6. And those of you that are kind of aware of like King's Indian type ideas, usually you'll have a knight A6 or knight B to D7, and then you'll reroute it here to C5, and it puts a great amount of pressure on an E4 pawn. But like I said, Magnus just sidesteps that. There is a huge idea in the position if you are white, and it comes down to something I say all the time. When your opponent has not prevented the E5 move and they have a knight on F6, you almost always, now you got to calculate, make sure you're good to go. But we do have a situation where that move is just plainly available on the board right now. So we do see Magnus going E5, and he basically tells Hans Niemann that your idea is too slow and you got your knight on A6 for no reason, bro. We do see knight going to D7. We got the move H4. This allows us to kind of put a piece on G5 at some point. We do see the move B6. You got to get that light square bishop out, homie. We do see the move rook to E1. This is something I say religiously all the time as well. We got the knight and we have the rook holding E5. Anytime you see a knight going back to D7, it is putting a lot of pressure on this point. Usually you'll see like a C5 movement and then the knight will come here to C6 and you have a lot of pressure here, but we don't have that now. So this is just a much more freer game for Magnus. We do see bishop B7. We got pawn taking D5, pawn taking D5. And then what do you do if you see that your opponent is trying to say, hey, bro, I got this bishop right here. I'm going to try to make it a king. You put a pawn in its face, not 100% in its face, but you are fixing this pawn structure. So now you are asking Hans, like, what do you think you're doing with your bishop over here, bro? Like, I mean, it's just biting on your super solid pawn right here on D5. So now Magnus has managed to make Hans' bishop bad. So bishop, I mean, Hans is not living his best life at the moment. We do see bishop to C6, and I mean, you're looking at this bishop and you're just kind of like, bro, like, what are your prospects, man? Like, you're not really living, you're not doing really anything with this bishop. So we have bishop going to C6, and we're going to be trying to push B5. We want to get like B5, B4 in. But I mean, the knight is just going to kind of jump around and kind of maybe find a better home. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. We do see knight going to G5. Now, we got the move B5, but then we do see queen to H5. And Magnus is like, hey, man, just let me checkmate you real quick, bro. Like, let me just hit H7, and we're good to go, man. You don't have to worry about nothing else. Just go to sleep. But Hans can't let that stand, so we do see bishop taking g5, bishop taking g5. And then we do see queen going to e8. Now, in this position, you might think, man, I can just like go f6, right? The problem with f6 is you start to kind of open your king up a little bit. You still don't have like your bishop really kind of coming into play. So you're going to be taking here, and you have just discovered, you know, some serious pressure on this backward e6 pawn. You probably have some ideas of going bishop h3, stuff like that. And it is what it is. Like so I said, we do see queen going to e8. We do see queen going down to g4. And this is kind of dangerous, man, because we got some either bishops coming to one of these two squares. Pretty much whatever one you want. So we do see king going to h8, trying to step out of the danger. We do see rook a to c1. And we're trying to let black know that, hey, bro, you know, don't forget about your bishop that's like super horrible, because I will grab it. We do see knight going to b6. Now, this is what I'm going to say about this situation. For those of you who understand how pawn structures work, this pawn structure is kind of going in this type of a direction. That means that white has kind of all this space right here to try to see if they can checkmate this king. And so what you really kind of want to do is get your pieces kind of over here. So if we do like a little bit of a count, we'll see that these pieces are kind of way over here. They're not really contributing to the game. So really kind of black is kind of like using two pieces. But then we have all 6 of white's pieces really kind of ready to spring into action over here. And it's not looking good, man. You can't play 6 versus 2 pieces, bro. We got knight back to e2. We do see knight going to b4. Because, I mean, I guess, you know, you have a light threat of going here and you can fork some rooks. But you are looking at this pawn. Also, once we see knight to f4, you basically just took knight to d3 off the table. So what do you do in this position? Do you get a pawn? If you're Hans Niemann, absolutely you get a pawn. Knight takes a2. I got a pawn. Yes. No, this is not what you want to be doing. Grabbing a pawn, bro. Like, you're winning the battle, but not winning the war. So Magnus was like, bro, do you think I care about that pawn or that rook? We got knight to h5, and you see it's getting hot, man. Look at this, bro. Look at all of this, dog. The bishop is going to come in. The rooks is coming in. Oh, nah, I don't want to be Hans Niemann, man. We got rook to g8. We're thinking, man, maybe we could hold on, right? Well, if you want to try to, you know, think like Magnus right here, go ahead and pause the video. There is a absolutely killer move. There's actually 2 killer moves, but I want you to try to guess what move Magnus played in the game. You can also guess the alternate move if you want to. Go ahead and pause the video and try to guess that move. Okay, so I think the first move that I'm talking about that Magnus actually played is going to be a little easier to find. And it is just the move knight to f6. And, I mean, you have some problems here. Number one, you're forking both of these major pieces. Also, you're threatening to move queen h5 and just basically just say, hey, bro, I'm just going to checkmate you. And, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. If you take, I got bishop f6. So we'll get into this in a second. The alternate move that I will take is actually knight takes g7. The problem is you are hitting the queen. You really don't want to go here because bishop is going to go here. We pretty much kind of transposed into that position somewhat anyway. But going back to what we had in the game, we did see knight going to f6. And you got queen stepping over to f8. Like, you're absolutely not moving your rook out of the way because, like, your rook is, like, literally holding the position down. So you kind of have to just leave it there. So we do see queen to f8. We got queen going to h5, like I said, creeping in. And just saying, hey, bro, let me tickle your h7 pawn because why not? But we do see pawn taking f6. We got bishop taking f6 with check. And then we do see the move rook to g7. There wasn't anything better. You could throw the queen in the way, but it's just going to be gone. Backing up here in the position. It was absolutely more accurate to go knight takes h7. I mean, you know, talking about accuracies and things like that. Obviously, if you did see king taking here, the queen would be coming here, and that would be absolutely checkmate. So it doesn't, I mean, you don't really want to go into that, but I mean, this position is not that much better. You know, you're kind of pinned for life right here. So we do see rook taking c6. Like I said, I mean, you wanted to remind Hans that, you know, your bishop is hanging if you move the queen, and that's what he did. Wasn't much better. We do see knight going down to c4. And it is in this position that Hans Niemann resigns the game. Now, you might be wondering, okay, I know I'm pinned on g7. I mean, like, kind of what's going to be coming up after this, man? Like, is there any way that I could try to get out of this? No. There isn't a way that you can get out of this at all, bro. Don't think that it is. But let me just kind of show you a sample, like some ideas that can be going forward. What we would absolutely see by white is rook to c7, and you are adding a lot of pressure onto this rank right here. And so after you would see, like, let's say an unpinned like king to g8, you would absolutely be seeing bishop taking d5. And you kind of have two options in this position. You can just kind of go forward and maybe, let's say, save your rook to g6. But after you see bishop taking e6, you would probably have to play like a move like this because you absolutely cannot take because this is checkmate in one. So yes, you would be forced to basically throw your knight away in like a horrible fashion. But if you didn't, if you just kind of kept everything solid and just said, hey man, I'm just going to go pawn takes d5, you would kind of have like a similar idea. It would just be e6. And I mean, you are, if you take here, you got the rook taking here and you got everything falling apart. I mean, if I was Hans, I would do the same thing and just be like, man, I'm good, bro. I'm not only want to keep going over. So as I said before, I did notice that Magnus Carlsen is just slightly ahead of Hans in this final. It's a semifinal. Yes. He's a little bit ahead of him, and they're still playing in the Blitz portion, so they still have both of the bullet portions to go. No, wait. They're still in the Blitz, but they still have the bullet left to go. So, I mean, if Hans can kind of drum up some, you know, some type of something, man, maybe he can come back, but he's trailing a couple of games. Now, I told you guys before that I did have a surprise. It's not really a surprise, but this is what happened. Okay, so I was preparing this game to show you guys, and I went ahead and decided I wanted to take a break. And, you know, for me, a break means playing chess. So I was like, man, let me get my mind off of some stuff. Let me play some chess games. And there was something crazy that I wanted to show you guys. Let me pull it up here, make sure it didn't get messed up. Okay, this is me. Okay, cool. So this is a game that I played about an hour ago or something like that. So I played this guy, Omar Dakil 98 from Libya. And the crazy thing about this game is it literally followed kind of almost the exact same path as the game I just showed you. So we'll kind of run through it real quick, just take a minute or two. But I mean, I just wanted to, it was crazy because when I got done playing, I was like, man, that was like literally the game that I'm looking at right now with Magnus and Hans. Okay, so of course it's not on the same level, but anyways, we did go, I played e4, we did go into a Carol Khan, and I got knight to c3. He went knight to f6, which isn't completely sound. What does it do? It allows you to push e5 like I told you guys before in this video and other videos. You're like, push e5, bro. Like, black has not prevented it, so let me do that. So we get into this situation here. We basically have a French with like one less tempo, so it's like definitely way better for black. We do see c5, bishop e2, knight to c6. Now, I will say this on my own behalf. I went bishop e3. It was probably better to go bishop f4 and just immediately defend e5 because I did start to kind of get into a little bit of trouble. We got bishop f4, we got a6, and he starts to kind of expand and kind of throw some stuff at me on the queen side. But I mean, I'm hanging on. Everything is okay at this point. Knight a4. We do see the move c4, which does waste a little bit of time. It allows me to get my bishop back, and I'm literally 1000% holding this e5 pawn, which is the most important thing you want to do. We do see knight to b6, and this kind of frees me up. I got knight taking, we got queen taking, I got rook to b1, putting the rook opposite the queen, always good. We got bishop e7. So I try to lock down the pawn structure and kind of make everything solid, which is very, you know, popular in the French. He does play the move a5. I got queen to d2 because my mind is starting to kind of, you know, drift over into, hey, bro, like, I mean, I got our pawns kind of pointing in this direction. I mean, let me try to see if I can get something going over here. This is where I need to be attacking, right? You know, literally like the game I showed you. We do see the move a4, and I really don't like the look of this. I was like, man, I'm not really feeling this, so let me go ahead and go a3. He closes everything down, which makes me be like, all right, bro, hey, I'm full steam ahead over here on the queen side, or the king side. So I do go bishop g5, wanting to take over the diagonal right there and trade bishops. He goes ahead and declines, which, I mean, I don't feel like was the best option. So I move my queen in. So you see that I'm like trying to make progress getting my pieces in. And I really want to go knight to g5. So after I see bishop to d7, I'm like, you're not castling, so what are you doing, bro? So I got bishop dropping back, bishop e7, I got knight g5, bishop takes, and then bishop takes, and then he castles kingside. I was like, bro, why would you castle kingside, dog? That's not where you want to castle, bro. So I go queen to g4, and like I said, this is identical almost looking to the position that we seen before with the queen and the bishop, and it was just amazing to me. The king slides over to h8. We got rook up to e3, rook lifting. Now, this wasn't the absolute best move, but I mean, I'm just in the mind frame. I'm like, bro, you know, I'm going to swing my rook over here to h3. I'm going to pressure this piece right here, pressure h7. I got the bishop maybe sliding in. I'm going to swing this rook over. Nothing is happening over here. And then look at black. They got all their pieces kind of hanging out over there. So it's like, it's crazy. So we got rook a to e8. I'm like, what is 8 even doing? It's doing nothing. Rook to h3. Knight goes back to e7. And I got queen to h4, man, because I got 2 threats in the position. I either got checkmate or I'm double threatening this knight. And you think that that h6 is working, and it's not. We got bishop taking h6, knight going down to g6, which might seem like it holds, but you have bishop taking g7 with check, king takes, and then queen takes, and that's checkmate. And like I said, I got done with this game, and I said, bro, this is literally like almost the game that we seen a second ago. So it's amazing. I mean, I already knew all of this stuff before, so it wasn't like I learned from, you know, the game and I played like, you know, something like this. But I just thought it was really interesting to show you guys. Maybe you guys might care, some people that stuck around, that this was like really, really crazy to me how identical like the ideas in this game were to the game that I just got done showing. So what I wanted to show you guys was like a real life example of these players that play, and then how it's possible for you to play yourself that way. So even if you think that you're not very good right now, you can get there at some point in the future, man. Do not lose hope. I know it's tough, man, because I feel like quitting chess all the time. I'm like, dude, I just suck at chess, dog. Like Levy. He's like, I just suck at chess, man. Like, I'm just not good. But anyways, man, I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. Maraming salamat. Tusen tak to anybody. I appreciate you guys from around the world. I'm going to see you guys next time.